surprising amount of money to be doled out to me month by month until I was 21 by the First National Bank downtown. I think he hoped that Dr. Merivale would assume some kind of responsibility for me. I continued visiting Dr. Merivale for 2 years, at first out of sheer inertia, having nothing else in my life, but gradually I began to grow interested in what he was trying to do. Actually, it was like going to college, except that while other girls were studying Jung and Freud out of textbooks in class, I was collecting dreams for Dr. Merivale, learning the difference between superego and id, discovering that I came from a trauma-ridden family and that I was terrified of life. I crammed just like a student, reading books on psychology all day and half the night. It had an effect. One day I looked in a full-length mirror and realized why nobody had ever noticed me. I shouldn't have noticed me either in an oversized gray sweater with stretched sleeves and a gray skirt with a crooked hem. I went out and bought a pair of bell-bottom slacks, which were in style at that time, and a bright pink shirt and a pair of sandals. The bell-bottoms swished when I walked, and I liked that. The next week I bought a white sweater and then a blue one. One day I accused Dr. Merivale of being a stuffed shirt, heady stuff. He was really very pleased with me after he'd recovered from the initial shock. I can't say I blossomed physically. I was still thin and freckle-faced with straight brown hair, but inside I was coming to life. I could almost forgive my mother for hanging herself when I was 11. After the big house on Walnut Street was sold, I moved into a boarding house. Dr. Merivale insisted I be among people, and fell into a very growth-oriented regime because I wanted to change as fast as possible. I set the alarm clock for 8, rose and did deep breathing exercises, then transcendental meditation for 20 minutes, and after that half an hour of yoga followed by 30 minutes of Canadian Air Force calisthenics, aimed mostly, I have to confess, at increasing my bust measurement. Sometimes it was almost noon before I had breakfast. And 3 times a week I went to Dr. Merivale, and I hung mottos all over the walls of my room like, "I am the master of my destiny and the captain of my soul." But I still had nightmares every night. It was at the boarding house that I met Callie Monahan, who had freckles too. What struck me first about him was his great calmness. He couldn't have been older than 30. He had a red beard and red hair, and every evening after dinner he would remain behind at the table and peel an apple, slowly and very intently. I knew nothing about him except his name and that he played the guitar. Sometimes I would hear him practicing in his room, which was above mine, sweet, lonely songs like Red River Valley and Where Have All the Flowers Gone? After about 3 weeks, we said hello when we met on the stairs. I was feeling quite daring by that time. And after a few more weeks, I stopped going into a panic when he said, "How are you?" And one evening after dinner, we actually had a conversation. He wanted to know what I did in my room all day. I rather incoherently stammered out an explanation. It didn't occur to me to dissemble. And he said, "So what does this doctor do for you?" I said he was trying to free me. "From what and for what?" he asked pleasantly, looking up from his apple peeling. I turned scarlet, and then after a moment said defiantly, "Well, for one thing, I've learned I have an IQ of 140, and that frees me from feeling stupid, which is the way I've felt all my life." He looked at me for a long time gravely, without amusement, which was merciful, and he seemed to be making up his mind about something. He said at last, quietly, "You had better come and meet Aman Singh." What's strange about this is that after he took me to meet Aman Singh that evening, I never saw Callie Monahan again, which always reminds me of Jung's speculations about meaningful coincidences in our lives, because if it weren't for Callie Monahan, I would never have met Aman Singh. I would probably have joined the typing class that Dr. Merivale kept urging on me, and I would certainly never have found the note in the hurdy-gurdy. Sometimes I ask myself, would anyone else have discovered it? And if they did, would they have cared, or done anything about it and changed the lives of so many people?